Right, so 2024. Yeah, I've just seen the best film of the year, but I've also just seen the worst film of the year because I've only seen one film in 2024. So, yeah, Night Swim.
It's that time of the year again. Dry January at the cinema, so why not release a new horror film?
With what, Jason Blum and James Wan? Like, these two geezers have decided to combine both of their production companies together to create a powerhouse and have released this tame, tepid movie.
Well, it's an original, and James and I have both been lucky enough to be involved in lots of franchises, and Megan was an original last year, so it's very important to both of us that we keep making original horror movies, not just sequels, and that's what Night Swim is.
One thing you got to do is appreciate the commitment that Blum and Wan have given to cinema over the last X amount of years. And this year, they've given writer/director Bryce McGurr a go on the hot seat.
In water, we become prey again, right? People drown in water. We can only stay underwater for maybe a minute, for most people maximum, before we die. It's not a safe environment. It's an unpredictable environment, and we go from being the top of the food chain to somewhere in the middle of the food chain really, really quickly.
Oh my days, this guy, he loves the sound of his own voice. So Night Swim stars Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's son. His name is Wyatt Russell. You might have seen him in the Black Mirror episode called Playtest, but you also might have seen him smushing some guy's head in off that Disney Marvel TV program, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. In this film, he is cast as a baseball player who gets this illness, this degenerative illness, so he has to be forced into early retirement. Him and his wife, played by Kerry Condon.
We cast Kerry while she was on the awards campaign for the Banshees of Inisherin. We were in complete admiration of her talent, and we were thrilled to see that audiences agreed.
Well, I'm glad I wasn't the only one who thought she was really good. And she is really good in this film. She is probably the saving grace of the movie, the glue that holds this film together.
She's sort of the arbiter of how we find out what the problem with the pool is, and she has to sort of run the gamut of storytelling through her eyes.
So our hero of the movie and her husband
decide to move to a new house with their two children. So when they go searching for a new place to buy, or is it rent? I can't remember. Basically, it doesn't really matter. They end up getting into this house that Wyatt Russell kind of sees himself gravitate towards this swimming pool. Apparently it has some kind of connection to a local pool and it replenishes your body or some stupidness. And for Wyatt Russell it does. His hand gets cut when he sticks it down the drain. A couple days later there's no cut. However, something needs to be sacrificed.
The pool is like hungry for something. It gives us something in return. It wants something back. The pool has a life of its own. The pool has like a motive of its own.
The pool has demons or something inside. It takes over Wyatt Russell's body, which is kind of one of the most uninteresting parts of the story, especially when we get into a section where he's so possessed he ends up walking backwards into the swimming pool, into the deep end with this kid. This spirit with this poor CGI goes into his mouth, and the film just becomes an absolute joke in the last 20 minutes. This film is pretty bad, but you know what, that's my personal opinion. Let's find out what the actors have to say.
It's a great boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, date night movie. And it would kind of be good to see with your whole family. It's PG-13, so if you got,
Whoa, 1 second. PG-13? It's a 15 here in the UK. But that's interesting. Why is it a PG-13? They must have cut scenes out. I wouldn't take a child to go see this film. I wouldn't take anyone to go see this film, because what's the point? What are you going to achieve out of it?
Expect to be scared, expect to challenge the way that you feel about pools, but also expect to see hopefully a cult classic in the future.
Wow. How much did she get paid to say that? Cult classic? Are you kidding me? I mean, really, it should have been straight to VHS.
I feel like this kind of stands alone, which is kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to do it. I felt like it was kind of like a unique script. It sort of reminded me of thrillers from the 80s, 90s. So I feel like it sort of stands alone.
It's got a bit of a point horror feel to it.
Actually, that's doing point horror a disservice. This film feels like a padded out 90-minute bore fest based on a 4-minute short film. Ain't that right, James?
When I first saw the short, I thought this was such a brilliant concept. We've had many kind of haunting movies over the years, but we've never really had a haunted swimming pool movie.
I gotta be honest, I'm not a big fan of swimming pools, water in general. I've got an inherent fear of drowning. It does actually scare me.
There is a vulnerability in water, I think, that A lot of people have it, even if you are a confident swimmer.
Which leads us into the scary parts involving the swimming pool. Now, I wouldn't really describe them as scary parts. I'd say they're more of an inconvenience. At one point, I was reminiscing about The Simpsons' first Treehouse of Horror story.
Stop saying those horrible things and show some manners!
And I just kept thinking, why don't this family just try and talk to the pool? Find out what the beef is.
But all members of the family, bar Wyatt, get threatened by this pool. So the mum, she has a sense of paranoia when she sees something that she thinks she saw.
Ray, you scared me.
The son, he has his little spat with this little girl / demon. And the daughter, she gets excited when she starts playing Mark.
Hello.
All of these scenes lack the intensity of a good horror film, and I really did find it difficult to take this film seriously. But looking at what I enjoyed about Night Swim though,
I thought the performances from Kerry Condon and Amelie Holfel were pretty good. They were definitely my standout performers in the film. Wyatt Russell didn't really do much. He just looked kind of distant quite a lot.
Wyatt is an extremely dynamic actor.
Where are you even looking?
He can be the comedic relief, the warm father figure, but also deliver the chilling scares that are all aspects of Ray's character.
Really? No. Just no.
And he totally is very great at just like giving it 100%, like totally going for it and totally doing it really good.
You know what, Kerry, you're right. Wyatt Russell does commit to certain situations, like choking, for instance. But I'd say that's about it, really. Choking, the physical stuff where he doesn't look well. So this whole kind of film had this massive feeling of The Astronaut's Wife that stars Charlize Theron and Johnny Depp, where Johnny Depp goes to space, comes back, and he's like a changed man, and Charlize Theron is just paranoid. She doesn't understand what's going on with him. But this film had a similar kind of feel, just kind of like a drawn out, uninteresting last half of the movie. It had some tense moments at the beginning, but then when everything is kind of just jump scare related and poor storytelling, like when Kerry goes to see the old woman who used to live in the house, and I don't know, that was just cheese galore.
I shouldn't face away from camera, but I just got to take this in for a beat because it is truly a dream come true. And I'm not just saying this because this is in-house Universal. This is from my heart. No one else knows how to put out an original movie like Universal Studios.
Seriously, this director is too much. I mean, what would I give this film out of 5? Probably a 2? I'll give it a 2.
I think audiences are going to love the scares. I think they're going to love the cast. But most of all, I think they're going to be really scared to get back into a swimming pool after watching Night Swim.